aka J Money.
Welcome back to Comedy Trap House News. It's your boy Marvin Telp, and we're going to start this episode with Good Morning America. Hosts TJ Holmes and Amy Robach were caught on a lovely couples vacation. The problem is they aren't married to each other. They're married to other people. The scandal broke last week, and Good Morning America, ABC, they were like, all right, we got to do something. So they suspended both hosts, which makes absolute sense. Here's the issue. They are now deciding whether or not to fire TJ and keep Amy. And the initial thing is the optics on this, right? Like this is feeling real Boston Celtics-ish. But the issue actually is apparently TJ don't know how to keep his dick to himself. So there are a number of scandals involving TJ and his penis. And I think he needs to get this shit together. And now there are multiple people signing off, right? Like Robin Reed came out and she was like upset and this is shameful. And other people are coming out and saying this is shameful. Where were y'all when y'all knew they were fucking? Like it's interesting. Everyone always has something to say in the aftermath, right? But not during the time. Speaking of aftermath and consequences, Diddy has announced that he is welcoming his youngest baby girl to the Sean Combs family. And that's cool, but the baby's not from Young Miami. That's not Carisha's kid, y'all. So Diddy's got some explaining to do because the math don't math from the time that they got together to the time that Diddy has this kid. Something's not right. Now, this is some selfish shit, and I'm just gonna keep it 100%. I am excited about this scandal because that means Diddy will probably come out with I Need a Girl Part 3. And I Need a Girl Part 2 is one of my favorite songs. I Need a Girl Part 1 was cool, but 2? Get my whole shimmy and shoulders ready for that. Yeah, so speaking of music, Robert Kelly, incarcerated ass Robert Kelly, just dropped an album last week. And it was entitled I Admit It, I Did It. Nigga, what? Now, this 13-track album featured a lot of like old recordings and things of that nature. But titling shit like that never works out for anyone because it didn't work out for OJ. Remember his book? If I Woulda Did. Nigga, what? Like,
Marvin, you gotta ask him how many people listened to the song and liked it though.
Oh, I guess we do need to ask the audience. Who actually heard any of the album, or at least the main title track? I Admit It, I Did It, because I listened to it. And I think the funniest part was he listed all the shit he did wrong, right? Like, it was like, yeah, I stole some toothpaste. Yeah, I kicked the old woman off the curb. Yeah, okay, 5-finger discount was my favorite thing in the world. Yeah, I didn't pull out that day, and I was probably going to push it down the steps, but other things happened. Like, cool. But he never really touched on, no pun intended, but he never broached the topic of what he actually did. He kind of skirted around the topics. Like, he was like, hey, the one chick, her dad brought her over. Nigga, what? Yeah, her dad brought her over. Oh, but she was overage. Then this is not what's the confession, nigga? Like, stop with the half confessing. Like, it's fine. R. Kelly, you got 85 years, okay? He's not coming home. Not anytime soon. But, speaking of niggas that are back home, Brittany Griner is back home.
I don't know if you want to judge some of JB. He said he heard some of it.
Oh, JB, what'd you say? I heard some. What'd you think about it, JB? I mean, R. Kelly, let's be honest. R. Kelly can sing, y'all. Like, I think that's the hardest part about this whole thing, right? Is R. Kelly can sing. And R. Kelly knows how to make hits.
Would you agree that he's the #1 greatest R&B singer living? Cancel.
It's hard to argue that because the music no longer hits the same for me, right? Like, before, right? Like, Feeling on Your Booty was about a chick my age. Now Feeling on Your Booty just feels wrong, right? Like, I hear certain things and I'm just like, I
feel like you should be changing diapers.
Listen, a number of comedians, we all did this when the scandal broke. One of the first songs we all hit was My Mind's Telling Me No.
Oh yeah.
But My Body's Telling Me Yes. And we now realize his mind was telling him no because he said this is illegal. The thought in the back of his head was like, my nigga, no. But his erection won. So the music, I don't know if I can call him the #1 R&B, but the man can make music. He makes good music. But what I was saying is Brittany Griner's home, and we are excited to have Brittany Griner home. Like, honestly, she was a political pawn. They played her. There's no reason this woman should have spent that type of time in prison. They moved her to a work camp because they just wanted to put pressure on the United States to get rid of her or to make a negotiation to trade her. What we didn't know was what the trade was, okay? They wanted Victor Boot. Victor Booted, the weapons dealer. He is known as the Merchant of Death. So we gave up a WNBA star for a killer. And that just feels like giving up a first round pick for, you know, maybe a 6th or 7th rounder. They may not get on the court. This was not really a great negotiation out. And again, I'm glad that Brittany Griner is home. But let's be honest, this is the most media attention that she's ever gotten. I mean, listen, once she gets back into the league, we won't even see her on TV again. I shouldn't have taken that shot at the WNBA. That was unnecessary. Hey, that fatherhood commercial, they renewed that for another year. So that's a good check. I mean, just letting y'all know. Speaking of people who are relevant since the WNBA has not been, Herschel Walker has lost the Georgia runoff to Pastor Senator Raph Warnock. And thank God, because I was nervous as hell. So he won by like 100,000 votes. Okay, so this was a much stronger showing than the original election. You can put up the map now, man, so that people can see. We're live people, you know. Yeah. So if you see about 100,000 votes, like 99,000, if we're going to be more honest about it, but close enough for us to say thank you, Georgia, but also say, what the fuck, Georgia? Why is this close? I mean, look, the Republican Party literally picked a coon to run. Coon is fine. Coon is fine. Before y'all get crazy in the comments, he said he doesn't mind being called coon. Look it up. So they picked a full coon to run against an educated black, boring as hell. Raphael Warnock is boring as hell, but educated. And he pushed it to a runoff. And it's just one of those things. They could have run anybody else. The Republican Party could have run anyone else. This is one of my favorite movies, by the way, folks. It's absolutely ridiculous. But had they run anyone else, they actually could have run this election. Had they approached Georgia with an ounce of just like, let's get someone in there educated, Warnock would have lost. And he would have swung the whole Senate. So, yay, Florida. I'm sorry. I done called y'all Florida. This is how much y'all was fucking up for this one. Yay, Georgia. But we got to get it together because we are running out of options. Kanye West is now doing interviews on Clubhouse. He has been banned from everywhere but Clubhouse. I didn't even know Clubhouse was still up. I ain't been on Clubhouse since we've been back outside. And palm color ones in deep country. Oh, listen, JB, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I looked at that map, man. Can we go back to that map?
Oh, yeah.
I looked at that map, and I was like, if I ever go to Georgia, it's only here. What is it? Athens, Atlanta, Macon, Savannah. Like, nowhere else. Not near. Hey, Marv, you got to go here. The barbecue down here is the best in the world. I believe it. I believe it's also whites only pies in certain areas of Georgia. And I'm not going to do it. I'm not new. I like my life.
Can we take a quick break real quick, Marvin? Just remind people to like and subscribe.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Since we're here and we're live and we're interacting with each other, like the video and subscribe to the channels, folks. Like, this is the only way you'll get the updates. Because there are some of you right now popping in going, wait, this shit live? I didn't even know this shit was live today. Wait a minute. Is this live? Yes, we are live. So all you have to do is like, subscribe, get our numbers up because we're trying to take this to the main screen. Trevor Noah has retired from The Daily Show. I mean, they won't hire my black ass because I say too much. But I could be a correspondent. I can come in talk about one topic and like, you know, get out. I can't host the show. I wouldn't even. I get canceled week 1. But Kanye was on Clubhouse and he's giving another interview of ridiculousness where he says in this interview Rosa Parks was a plant. And the black world erupted, right? We got upset. Don't you dare badmouth Rosa, I'm not getting out my seat Parks. I'm going to park my ass right here and stay here. And there's something wrong with Kanye, but what he does is he puts just enough truth in his wild ass statements to justify his lunacy, at least to himself, right? Because this might get us canceled right here, man. You sure you want me to do this topic?
Let's do it.
Rosa Parks was a plant. Okay. Now, before y'all log off, stay with me. It do sound like a comic book villain, dog. But that's what we gave up. We let him go for anyway. Rosa Parks was a plant, and let me explain what the story is. A lot of us don't know about Claudette Colvin, and Claudette Colvin is actually the catalyst for all of this. Claudette Colvin and a couple of friends after school were on a bus in Montgomery, Alabama, in March 2nd of 1955, and was arrested for not giving up their seat on the bus. Okay, Claudette Colvin, 15 years old, was arrested and actually charged. They was like, she's guilty. She didn't get up for a white woman. Guilty. And that should have been the beginning of the Montgomery bus boycott, but it wasn't. And why was that? Because the NAACP leaders, Rachel Dolezal and them, yeah, you can go ahead and throw up Rachel Dolezal, the president of her Spokane chapter. Rachel Dolezal, Rachel. King Savage, put your eyes back, dog. Don't do that. Rachel Dolezal, and her crew had to make a decision. And this is a true story. So they decided Claudette Colvin should not be the face of this movement because Claudette Colvin was 15 and pregnant. That's the God honest truth. She was 15 and pregnant, and they were like, white people will legitimately hang her if she came forward as the person that was pushed to the back of the bus. So what they had to do was find a new face. So they organized and staged, this is why it is a plant and this is true, the arrest of Rosa Parks. There are schematics of her on a bus where she's going to sit. She sat. They told her to move. She said, I will not move. I am parked here. I'm going to make a lot of parks and parked jokes because I didn't realize it until right now. So I got to get them out my system. And so she did not move. And she was arrested and she became the face of the Montgomery bus. Oh, okay. Okay, she became the face of the Montgomery bus boycott. That's the actual truth, ladies and gentlemen. And so Rosa Parks wasn't arrested until December 1st, 1955, which is 9 months after Claudette Colvin. Now, this decision was one to put a more favorable face in the public's eye. Now, people will yell colorism immediately because, let's be very honest, we do have some colorism issues in our own community as black folk. But understanding the game of white people at that time, they knew they needed a certain look and appeal. So Rosa Parks then goes on and becomes the first lady of civil rights, and the bus boycott becomes one of the biggest things, one of the biggest movements in the U.S. at the time, because it doesn't matter who it was, 75% of the public transportation users were black. So all we needed to do was really just protest the bus. And it was, if you know the history, you know how much time and work went into making sure the Montgomery bus boycott was successful. But what happened with Claudette? Well, she was 15 with a kid, so life was hard for her. But she continued to work on civil rights. She had, I believe, another kid, and kind of just faded into existence. We never really gave Claudette her flowers for what she'd been through and what she was. And now there was quotes from Rosa, who was like, well, you know, we were out to protect Claudette, which they were. And quotes from Claudette, who said, Rosa was the right face for the job. Rosa was absolutely the right face for the job. And I don't think that was a colorism thing. I think it was just more of a realms of who she was. But y'all niggas could give me my flowers. That's not exactly what she says. That's loosely translated, but close enough. So you deal with a Rosa, and if you know the true story of it, it gives you, I guess, space to say something like Rosa was a plant, and minimize what Rosa was to the movement. Rosa Parks was just as important as Claudette Colvin. Kanye uses shit like that, just enough lunacy, enough truth to make his lunacy, at least to him, make sense. And I know we said we were off of Kanye, because fuck Kanye. But I wanted to get the Claudette Colvin story out because I believe it's something that, again, we know we aren't being taught Black history and in school. So here's a Black history moment from us here at Comedy Trap House News.
That's quite good.
Yeah, you know, we give our props to where they're deserved. We got anything else we're talking about before we get out of here, folks? Y'all want me to talk about something?
Drop a comment.
Yeah, drop a comment, like, subscribe. I already told y'all niggas to do that earlier. Listen, dog, we try to get the knowledge out there. A lot of times, they don't tell us the truth. They hide our knowledge. They hide our truth. When I say they, I legitimately mean America. They go out of their way to make sure the truth is not given. So, when we have some truth, we want to make sure we spread it.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What would have made it a worthy trade for the Merchant of Death and Brittany Griner?
I think, honestly, you start digging into like a lot of espionage is a very real thing, right? So we have spies that have been captured. They have spies that have been captured. And I'm not even going to argue that we probably don't have an American Merchant of Death somewhere over there. But I think you're giving up something that is potentially detrimental not only to the U.S. as a trade, but to the rest of the world. Because Victor Bout has been known to provide arms not only to Russia's interests, but also to some of the biggest conflicts in the world. And yes, we do the same thing also. That's what I'm saying. Politically, there could have been way more of a power move for a trade like Victor Bout as opposed to Brittany Griner. Again, I'm absolutely glad Brittany's home, and I'm glad they did what they had to do to get her home. But our negotiation skills are trash. That's not a good trade. It's not a good trade at all. That's all I'm saying. There you go. We gave up the Russian Tony Stark for who was the center in Space Jam? Exactly. No one knows.
Juggernaut Legend said, bruh, that's crazy. So do the ends just justify the means by placing a plant to get more attention in the way they wanted? Of Rosa Parks?
Yeah, I think so. If we're talking about what Rosa meant to the civil rights movement, I think it's fine. I think plant as a term and the way he used it is a way to undermine what it was, right? Like, we're at this point very aware of the need for white sympathy in the civil rights movement. Like, we don't get much done without white allies. So we appreciate our white allies. So whatever you have to do to motivate our white allies. Now, mind you, remember this the photo of Rosa Parks with her her prison number went around the world. It was a world phenomenon at the time. So yeah, it kind of justifies the means because let's be honest, one, a 15-year-old pregnant chick would have gotten murdered. And I don't mean murdered as in physically. I mean, they would have assaulted everything about her character. And it would have undermined that movement. And who's to say how much longer it would have pushed off, you know, the bus boycott or just getting laws passed in that realm. That's, yeah, play the game. That's absolutely right.
Shout out to Diana. She said it's almost midnight here. I'm up for y'all.
Hey, what up, Diana? Where the hell are you?
Where you at, Diana?
Where you at, Diana? I don't know. How long is it going to take to lag? Your ass is already somewhere. Are you out in Qatar watching the World Cup?
You gotta tell them how you lost that bet today.
First of all, I didn't make a bet. I just said, I didn't think Argentina was going to get past.
You made a social bet.
I just talked some shit, okay? So yeah, I talked some shit and I was wrong, okay? Argentina played a much better match than I thought they would because I thought they were going to get bullied like we saw Brazil. But they were just better. So if you see any posts about this game, it didn't age well, leave me alone. Thanks. Yeah, so I think that's it. If we're done and there's no more topics people want to discuss, we can get the hell out of here.
Let's do it, man.
All right. Thank you for coming back to another episode of Comedy Trap House Live, our second one. Again, it's something we're going to try to do, once a month or something like that. Happy holidays. Make sure you send love, vibrations, and all that to your people. It's a strange time of year right now. COVID numbers are back up. So just be safe, be healthy. Like someone just said in the comments, health is wealth. We'll see you when we see you. Peace.
Go ahead.
I just saw one last post from Smooth Guy, so I actually wanted to touch on that real quick. Yeah, I think one of the things we have to be mindful of with Brittany Griner being in Russia is that wasn't her first season playing for Russia. So she's been in Russia multiple years as one of their highest earning basketball players. And I think what that does is that breeds a sense of complacency. So I don't think she realized the climate of what was happening worldwide with her. Meaning that's not the first time she had oil in her bag, period. I'm not even thinking she just decided 6 years in, let me sneak some oil over to Russia. This is some shit that she's done regularly. I don't think Russia discovered the oil at TSA. I think they just went in her bag because they knew, hey, let's check your bag. Oh my God, look what we just found. So I think she took for granted that the sanctions with the U.S. and her were going to be something that took what her everyday action was. She's done this before. She's done this multiple times before. That would lead her to almost forfeiting her life over some bullshit. That's all. I just wanted to